Alright, you're probably watching this video for either one of two reasons. Either you're trying to figure out how to do some preventative maintenance and inspect your brushes and possibly change them if you have to. Or, like what just happened to me, your router isn't turning on and it's probably time to replace the brushes. So we're gonna start doing that right now. You only need a few tools to do it. I've got a T20 Torx bit. You can also use a flathead. That's going to be to remove the 4 bolts on top of the router. You're going to need a 4mm Allen. That should have come with your kit. And that's going to be to loosen these 2 screws that hold the router. You're going to need some pliers. I like long needle nose ones that are curved like this. These help me pull the brushes out. And of course you're going to need your replacement brushes. I'll put a link in the description of where I get these from, and they're a pretty good value. They come in packs of 4, so you can get 2 brush changes out of it. So let's go. Alright, the first thing that we're going to do is unplug our router. I've already done that. You just want to do that to make sure you're being safe. You don't want to accidentally turn it on. Next thing we're going to do is take this 4mm Allen and just loosen these 2 bolts. Now, I run my router a little bit higher in the mount, so it's going to drop down. But what this is going to let us do is help us get to this back brush that's in here. So now I'm going to use this T20 Torx. You can also use a flathead if you don't have one of these. And we're going to remove these 4 bolts. Alright, so now we'll just pop that cover off. This is a good time to inspect in here, just make sure it's not getting too dirty. Some people will run socks on top. I run a dust collector and really haven't had an issue with getting too much junk in here, so it's mostly just debris from the brushes actually wearing out. So this front one is pretty easy. So we'll start just by disconnecting the connector here. You can just pull right up on that. And then what I like to do is I just pull the brush back, and that'll start unwinding this coil here. And I use these pliers. It's a little difficult to do with the camera right in my way, but so I use these pliers just to grab that coil, and I just push it over to this right side. Alright, I hope you can see that clearly. Alright, so here's that coil, and like I said, I've just got it hooked over this right side piece, just to keep it out of my way. Alright, so now we've removed our old brush. You can take a look at that and see it's pretty short, because here's our new one. Quite a bit longer. Alright, and we're just going to put this new one in. So it's got the wire coming out of the left side. We're just going to slide that in till it stops. And then we just take that coil, put that back behind there so it'll put pressure on it. And then we want to make sure that we plug our wire in. Alright, and that's it for that one. Alright, so we're just going to do the same thing on the back one, but we'll kind of turn it a little bit to get a better shot at it. And again, we're going to remove the connector for the wire. We can then start pulling that out. Which will start unrolling that coil and give us room to hook onto it. with our pliers, and we just hook it over that little piece. And then we just need to get our brush out. So again, that one is pretty worn out. Alright, putting this back one in can be a little more difficult just because there's a lot of stuff in the way, but it will fit in there. And again, you just push it in until it stops. Get that spring clip behind it. And then hook the wire on. Alright, we're all done with our brush change. Now all we got to do, screw this cover back on. Alright, and then I'm just going to lift this up. I actually have scribed a little line just so I can always put it right in about the same area. The reason I run it up a little higher is so I can work on thicker pieces of material. I have done stuff up to right about 2 inches, making like boxes and stuff. Alright, so we've got that locked down and we're good to go. So that's it as far as the brush change goes. It's pretty straightforward. You know, if you guys have any questions, please leave a comment or send me a message or something and I'll help you out with that. But, you know, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. I've just got to finish putting my dust collection and stuff back on, and since I've adjusted it, you know, I was ready to make a cut, but I'm going to have to set my Z height again before I do that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching this video today. Please like and subscribe if it helped you out, and stick around because I've got a lot more stuff as far as the Shapeoko, CNC routing, and different furniture and all sorts of stuff goes. Thank you. One more thing I forgot.